I don't know what you brought me in here for, Phil. I can't do this. I'm too busy, honestly. Like, I've got the new video podcast channel that we've got. You know, we've got a live show. I've got all my usual stuff. I'm too busy. I haven't got time to record a list. I'm sorry.
But you have to do this.
What do you mean I have to do this? You got Andy out there can do it. We got Miller. We got Gareth. We got Pollard. They can all do it.
You, like specifically you, have to do this.
What do you mean I have to? All right, fair enough. These are silly little guys who didn't belong in WWE! Number 10, Johnny Saint. It might be a little bit cruel to single out the elder statesman of the already forgotten NXT UK rather than some of the a lot sillier little guys on that roster, but his appointment was kind of emblematic of how silly the whole project was. Look, it only came about because World of Sport dared to get some hours on ITV and certain other indie promotions were doing rather well on a booming UK indie scene, and WWE thought, I'll have a bit of that. Actually, I'll just have all of that and subsume everything to make this WWE adjacent product out of a lot of non-WWE things. It was never going to work, and making Johnny Saint the tonight in this ring guy as part of it was the silliest little thing of them all. Number 9, Rob Gronkowski. 4 Super Bowls, 4 first-team All-Pros, 5 Pro Bowls. Rob Gronkowski is very good at American football, but wrestling fans probably know him as Mojo Rawley's best mate. He hopped the barrier at WrestleMania 33, had a small argument with security, and then helped Mojo win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and get rid of Jinder Mahal. It just made so much sense to bring him in to WWE. Here was this larger-than-life character that everyone knew with this boatloads of charisma. And then, I don't know what happened when he came in for his special attraction run and to host WrestleMania 36. Granted, it was pandemic times and God never take me back there ever again, but it felt like the charisma and all the stuff that made you want to watch him had been space jammed out of him. Even a wacky run with the 24/7 championship couldn't save him. The only thing he was good to do in WWE was a very silly debut where he sort of gyrated on a ring post and did the weirdest walk down to the ring since Vince McMahon. Number 8, Seth Green. I mean, do I really need to say anything with this entry? We haven't photoshopped this. That's how it looks when a normal person stands next to pro wrestlers. Seth Green, he looks like a competition winner who gets to hang out with his favourite wrestlers. He was their tag team partner. Look, this was the god-awful guest host era of WWE. And I'm not even having a go at Seth Green. I think I'm just saying again how emblematic he was with the problem with that. I'd put Seth up there with your Bob Barkers and your Hugh Jackmans who got involved as guest hosts of Monday Night Raw, unlike Jeremy Piven who called it fucking Summerfest. But if you ever wonder if you look normal and wonder what would I look like if I ever stepped in a WWE ring, editor, put my head on Seth Green's body. That's what we'd look like. Number 7, Top Dollar. Right, first and foremost, it's not funny when someone makes a big mistake in their job, then subsequently gets bullied for it, and then kind of subsequently gets fired for it. That's not what this entry is about. Top Dollar's entry is because, well, unlike the John Cena character, he would cut these weird fire raps and big stuff up on social media and then never follow it up in the ring. He'd get his ass handed to him. Look at his win-loss record towards the end. It was so confusing, the whole experiment. I mean, Ashanti the Adonis and B-Fab are still there, and best of luck to them. Why on earth they ever let Swerve Strickland go, I have no bloody idea, evidenced by them allegedly tampering to try and get him to come back. And then Top Dollar, who, credit to him, I'll say this as well, lost a boatload of weight in WWE and deserved better. The moment Flop Dollar happened, I think that kind of the writing was on the wall for him there. And when Michael Cole gets on one over on you on commentary, that's it. You're kind of silly at that point, aren't you? Number 6, Adnan Ver. Hey, remember him? You know, the one before Jimmy Smith, who really was quite good. Now, I don't blame you, because he was kind of a blink and you'll miss it. He was perfectly passable as a commentator. It's just it's a weird place to come regardless of your experience, really. I think he was only there for about a month and a half following WrestleMania in 2021. It was the pandemic, so it was always going to be a little bit strange. It was kind of like, imagine getting a really good news reporter, someone who's done amazing hard-hitting stories or risked their lives in war zones, and then going, right, love all that, but what you're going to do for us now is you're going to go along and daily report on what goes down at the circus. It just doesn't work, does it? He tried his best, fair play to him, but yeah, I mean, maybe it's the wrong way round this, because WWE was just too silly for him. Although we will always have the Backlash Zombie Lumberjack match and this image, so it wasn't all a waste. Number 5, the Road Warrior. Let me explain this one, because there's a weird quirk within wrestling where how over a character is in the context of their career really affects how you see them. Jon Moxley and Dean Ambrose are the same guy. They didn't really do too much different physically, but latter-day Dean Ambrose and new AEW star Jon Moxley were two very different people. What's another good example? Zack Ryder. I'd kill to have Zack Ryder's body when he's in WWE, and yet when he became Matt Cardona and went to the Indies, he was suddenly 8 foot bloody tall. And let's say this, Cody Rhodes' late AEW stage would not be headlining WrestleMania, consecutive WrestleManias, and probably being the guy to finally dethrone Roman Reigns. He looked very different when he came back to the Fed. And that's what I mean about the Road Warrior here. Latter day Road Warrior, all right, he was like solid gold Homer Simpson and Arnie's Terminator, all merged into one. 2006 as Road Warrior, out of shape and past his prime, he was a silly little guy who didn't belong in WWE. That's just how it is sometimes. Number 4, Tatanka. Early to mid-90s Tatanka will always have a very special place in my heart, but we're not here to talk about that version of Tatanka. We're here to talk about 2016 Tatanka and his appearance in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 32. WrestleMania 32, let's not forget, the biggest WWE show ever, at least according to WWE. The thing was, no reason was given for why he was in there. It wasn't like a Battle Royal that was filled with legends. He just sort of showed up and then was immediately forgotten about when Big Show and Shaq had their face-off and Baron Corbin had a shot win. He was just a silly little guy there to make up the numbers. Sorry, mate, thanks for coming. Number 3, Eli Cottonwood. What is a mustache? And what was this version of NXT? It certainly wasn't the super indie promotion of 2019 that Triple H had created, was it? It was just this weird game show that WWE created where they had to do these tasks and activities and quizzes and just loads of bollocks, effectively, that had no bearing on whether or not they'd actually be a good wrestler. Again, this is not on Eli Cottonwood, it's just a real example of how they made this big, serious guy look like a silly little guy who didn't belong in WWE because they went, cut a promo about a fucking mustache. And yeah, of course he died on his arse off the back of that. How is that helping anyone? Honestly, thank God for AEW. Number 2, Lance Cassidy. Oof, imagine debuting in WWE in October of 1992. The bubbles burst. WWE's leaner years are coming and they are relying on 3 categories of people. Elite tier wrestlers, the likes of your Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Mr. Perfect, etc. Long tenured legends, Savage, Hogan, soon to leave Ric Flair, and non-juiced up monsters. Giant Gonzalez, Taker, Yokozuna, basically. If you don't fit into any of these 3 categories, you're buggered. So if you've just debuted as lithe, laughing cowboy Lance Cassidy, you're not long for this world. He was gone in 4 months. Yeehaw, partner. Number 1, Ronnie Garvin. Ronnie Garvin had a pretty serviceable career for Jim Crockett Promotions without ever really troubling the top of the card. That was until he suddenly won the NWA World Heavyweight title out of goddamn nowhere. Now, this was a means to an end. You had Starrcade 87 that was about to go up against Survivor Series, and they wanted Ric Flair to win the title at Starrcade, so they thought, right, let's put it on Ronnie Garvin, so that with their history together, that'll give Flair a nice win at Starrcade and we'll win the battle with the WWE, right? It was, in a weird way, sort of similar to when the WWE put the world title on Jinder Mahal, except actually Ronnie Garvin had some good short matches rather than Jinder Mahal, who had the same shit match every single goddamn time. Anyway, this period of being world champion caught WWE's eye, and then Ronnie Garvin went there for, oh boy, quite the run. From a run that was from 1988 to 1990, he almost exclusively feuded with Greg Valentine. He served an enforced retirement. He spent some time as a babyface referee that constantly broke the rules. And then he entered a performance in the Big Blow-Off match where he basically spent most of his time pulling faces like this, so much so that the match has just sort of entered meme lore. Ronnie Garvin was the silliest little guy who did not belong in WWE, and my God, do I love him for it. I salute you, sir. Bah! Did we miss any out? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to What Culture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, and let us know your thoughts on X as well, at What Culture WWE. You can find me on there, at Adam Wilborn. Thanks for watching. I've been Adam from What Culture, and I'll see you soon.